Because Sudanese government officials are in the South Sudanese capital, Juba, for a meeting to evaluate the progress made in the implementation of the country's 2020 peace deal. Now, the slow implementation of the peace agreement has triggered concern from the Juba administration, who believe Sudan's instability is affecting their country's peace and security. There has been growing political tension in Sudan since the military assumed leadership of the North African nation. Here's more details of that in this report.
The conference in South Sudan is expected to come up with a way forward for the implementation of the country's peace deal signed in 2020. The peace agreement is meant to transfer power and wealth away from Khartoum. The government it created is expected to reach a peace deal with all armed groups and promote development across the country.
The government is trying its best to implement the peace agreement, but it's now 2.5 years without much progress, because there are many groups in the country who can't agree on any issue, and that's making implementation of the agreement extremely difficult.
Some groups in Sudan say the peace agreement should be reviewed and revised to reflect the aspirations of other regions. But the Juba administration says it is concerned about the slow progress of the peace process.
There are many common interests between South Sudan and Sudan. The two countries share one of the longest borders in Africa. South Sudan national security is adversely affected by the instability in Sudan.
In August 2019, the Transitional Military Council, which took over power after Bashir's downfall, and the Civilian Forces for Freedom and Change, representing the protesters, signed a power-sharing deal. That agreement led to the formation of a hybrid civilian-military government tasked with revitalizing the ailing economy and steering the country to elections. However, the military later ousted the civilian government, and now the members of the international donors who previously committed to supporting the country now say they will only support Sudan once there is a civilian government in place.
The security arrangements, the humanitarian aspects, the returning of IDPs and return of refugees, that require a lot of financial support. For the time being, we don't have that.
The Khartoum government says the military is in talks with political parties in Sudan for a possible return to civilian rule.